Well, we are bringing this topic back into the forefront because of Max Bultman on The Athletic. Today we're revisiting a conversation we had a few weeks ago that talks about the Detroit Red Wings. Now I know what you might be thinking. The Wings are in a spot where they play a game. Later today they've got the Flyers at 7 p.m. Eastern. They're coming off a win against the Toronto Maple Leafs on Saturday, but they will have their chance at revenge against the same Flyers team that took them out last week, 4-1. So we'll see what happens when the Wings play off against Philly one more time. However, this video is going over to an article published on The Athletic by Max Bultman that's titled this: Has the Red Wings rebuild stalled? Can Detroit land Mikko Rantanen or Mitch Marner? You can see by the 200 comments on the Athletic piece that this is a pretty hot topic, and a lot of people are going out there and discussing in the comments section and online whether or not these ideas really make sense, if a quote-unquote Hail Mary by Steve Yzerman could be accomplished here for the Detroit Red Wings. And to help us out with this entire thought process, because of course The Athletic is paid for material, you need a subscription to read the piece. We're going over to another article published on RedWingsInsider.com by Jack Sutherland. Because Sutherland goes out there and gives us some of the scoops as to what is written about in The Athletic, it gets behind the paywall in a way. It doesn't entirely just copy and paste the entire article, just the stuff that we care about in the context of this conversation. Reported asking price for Detroit Red Wings to acquire top Avalanche star is revealed. Sutherland writes this: while it would come at a considerable cost, would you like to see Red Wings GM Steve Yzerman pony up this kind of cash to sign this true difference maker? One of the main points of concern for the Red Wings and their fans is that they have several solid players in their roster, but they do still lack that true game-changing talent. Max Bultman of The Athletic fielded questions from fans and gave his realistic outlook on the chances of the Wings signing a player of Toronto Maple Leafs forward Mitch Marner or of Colorado Avalanche forward Mikko Rantanen's caliber. Both players are on expiring contracts and can become free agents in the summer. Here's the transcript as to what Bultman writes about. It's usually safest to expect that players of their caliber will re-sign with their current clubs. Even if negotiations get a little tense, teams know how hard it is to find players as good as those two, and usually do what it takes to keep them, especially in their prime. But if these players do go to the market, the prices would be insane. The Athletic's Pierre LeBrun said that he thinks Rantanen believes he could get up to $14 million AAV in the open market. With a rising salary cap, I'd expect Mitch Marner to garner north of $12 million. That may simply be what it costs for an open market star these days, though, and Rantanen in particular is the kind of player the Wings just don't have right now. And quick thought, does that mean that the Wings have a player that is a lot closer to Mitch Marner? No, I'm not necessarily gonna come to that conclusion, but I will say Rantanen is more of a specific kind of animal. He is a different kind of difference maker in the National Hockey League. I'd say that the profile and what you get out of Mitch Marner is maybe more attainable than what you see out of Rantanen. I don't know, they're both wingers. They can both score a whole bunch of points. Rantanen does it more so, though, and I think his sniping ability is superior to Marner's playmaking ability, and Rantanen, of course, is no slouch when it comes to his own assist-generating power. But either way, there's a reason it's written about here that the predictions could see Rantanen getting somewhere in the $14 million AAV range. Marner could be getting 12. One thing's for sure, though, both of these guys would immediately be the best forwards on the Detroit Red Wings should they sign with this organization. But ultimately the question is, do you do it? You see, we had a bunch of conversations in the comment section of the last video. Some were saying that Rantanen would be a great ad, others talking about the percentage of the cap, whether or not it's good to commit that amount of money to one guy. Ultimately, though, I'll say this, when it comes to timeline, when it comes to what exactly these players would be at this time, I think it's a perfect fit, really. Dylan Larkin was 2014 drafted. Rantanen and Marner are both 2015. They are just in that same timeline of age, and with DeBrincat being 2016, Patrick Kane being, of course, a little bit of a veteran guy, there would be ample opportunity in 2026 for these players to do well together in some sort of a playoff package. That is, of course, if the Wings are able to make the playoffs. If you wanted to argue that the Yzerman rebuild plan has not really gone as well as it could have, and that this time right now is when the Wings should have started to look competitive, you maybe give it an extra year for Simon Edvinsson, you give it another year for Marco Kasper, and then Sebastian Cossa too up in the Wings. This is where you start to say that future decisions in the immediate short term can really make or break what the Yzer plan will be remembered by. If by the time 2026 rolls around and the Wings are slowly but surely fighting for a wild card, a Mikko Rantanen-like asset could be taking them from what is a 90-95 point team to a 100 point team, and a solidified first wild card team instead. That is, of course, all wishful thinking, be a GM mode, franchise mode type of thought, but I do think it's realistic to acknowledge that a guy like Rantanen or Marner could add significant value, and he would add a playmaking and scoring edge that just isn't present on the team right now. Not to fully disrespect Dylan Larkin and DeBrincat and what these guys have been doing this season, but they're not Rantanen or Marner. Sorry. Let's go back over onto the article on RedWingsInsider.com and read what it says here at the bottom. While it would be a hefty price tag to snag either one of Marner or Rantanen, the ultimate payoff could be soon worth it for the Wings and their fans, who have been dying to get back to the mountaintop. With 47 points already this year... What the hell? He has 47 points already? What the hell? Rantanen is already well on pace to easily pass the 100-point plateau yet again in his career. Meanwhile, Mitch Marner is on track for a career best in total assists. Ah, my gosh, we needed to really look at that before we made this commentary, didn't we? Yeah, no, Mikko Rantanen at this point in time is on pace for 117 points. That would be a career high. He has reached 100 twice. This would be his third time in the past. Oh my gosh. 18 goals and 29 assists in 33 games played. I get it, he's playing with MacKinnon, but Rantanen is one of the only guys in the league, I feel, that amplifies and allows MacKinnon to be better than what MacKinnon is normally. I mean, MacKinnon himself is on pace for yet another 130-something point season after all, so there's a lot of value to be had out of these players, my gosh. Marner is, of course, on pace for 100 points as well, but, you know, when you're getting 100 points, it pales in comparison to the guy who's on pace for 120 after all. I mean, it still would be an improvement for the Red Wings, right? So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this entire idea. Could we see Steve Yzerman make a Hail Mary signing like a Marner, like a Rantanen, sometime next year, should these guys enter the free agent pool? Of course, they could both just re-sign with their current teams, and this entire commentary would be out the window. But for now, we have the opportunity to discuss it, so let's go out there and do that, shall we? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.